Okay, we continue our session. Diversity, equity, and inclusion in digital manufacturing.
Today, we have two industry experts from Siemens. We have Bethany Kerr, who is a member of the Global Strategy and Marketing Organization at Siemens, and we have Tavia Carson,
Siemens.
who's a HR executive at Siemens. Both Bethany and Tavia, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very happy to be here.
Yes. Thank you.
Bethany, maybe I'll start first with you. As both of you know, the context of we are doing this series of courses around digital technologies in manufacturing, how manufacturing is being transformed by some of these cutting edge technologies. And in my opinion, as I've been kind of designing this course, the transformation coming from these technologies, whether it is artificial intelligence, digital twins, Internet of Things, or additive manufacturing, I think the transformation coming from these are quite profound, and they have both business and social impact. And certainly we know that these technologies infuse enormous new capabilities into the organization, which allows manufacturers to manage more efficiently, effectively, and hence deliver more value for the customers and also for the shareholders and probably employees as well. But at the same time, there's always a question in terms of the benefits coming out of this change, right? Is it being distributed? Is it being accessible to everyone? And as you know, as University of Michigan, we take diversity, equity, and inclusion as a very important priority for us in all the programs we do. And so this discussion I would like to have in terms of how do you see the DEI issue coming here? And with your background, I know both of you are serving as part of your DEI council within Siemens, or you're co-chairs of that, right? So I thought it would be great to have this conversation with you in terms of, given this transformation of the technology going on in manufacturing, what are the DEI issues you see here?
Well, it's a great point, and I agree with everything that you said here. I think adding the fact that there are business and social implications to digital transformation is perhaps a story that I haven't quite heard very often. So thanks for bringing it up and raising the issue. We speak to our customers, so from Siemens Software, we speak to our customers about digital transformation all the time. And in our conversations with our customers, it often comes back to the pace of change and how things are changing so rapidly today, perhaps faster than they ever have before. And so what is happening is data is piling up faster than ever, like piles and piles and mountains of data. We've got new technologies entering the conversation and the strategy faster than ever. And we have new, like you said, new capabilities, but that also requires new or different skills. And so with this pace of change and everything that is happening as sometimes we say the physical and the virtual worlds are beginning to blend, or those boundaries are beginning to blur, it's creating pressure, and it's creating pressure on the human beings of not just our organization, not just your organization, but every organization, and especially manufacturing. And so once we start really focusing on what the humans of manufacturing and of business are facing with, I believe instantly the concept or the points of diversity, equity, and inclusion must be on the table. There are many statistics out. McKinsey had a report recently that showed that organizations that have appropriate gender diversity have around 15% increase in profits over those organizations that don't. So it's a non-issue. If we have human beings under the pressure of having to figure out and keep up with the pace or take advantage of the pace of change that's happening with digital transformation, we, the management, the suppliers, the manufacturers, have to be doing things to help the humans. I keep saying human beings because we're not resources and we're not employees. We all have needs and to learn and grow. So that's where the DEI issues come from. And I'll pass it over to Tavia to really focus on the place to start during this transformation.
Thank you. So I agree with everything that's been said thus far, but the place to start that we found in our journey in diversity, equity, and inclusion, which for Siemens has been for the better part of 19 years, has been to assist in creating a pipeline of talent so that we as an industry, specifically a software industry, previously only wanted to make sure that we were creating next generation software engineers. That was our platform. That was our thought process. That's all we did. However, as this digitalization is coming faster, we're starting to understand that we need to know or position ourselves as a company to our customers, which are other companies, that they need to understand more than just software engineering. So we partner with an organization called AMI, which is the Advancing Minorities Interest in Engineering, where we as industry are partnering with our customers like a Boeing or Lockheed or General Motors. We're in that room with the 13 ABET accredited HBCU engineering schools and government representation, so that those three pieces come together, or those three entities come together to talk about the trends that are happening outside of a university setting, so that we as industry can say, this is what we're seeing, this is what's happening in this industry, specifically in the industry of engineering, and talk to our customer directly. So GM, we're partners on this board. Are you seeing more? Are you getting what you need? Are you getting the students that you need? Because we as a software company are going to partner with these schools to make sure that they understand the software that's needed, that you're going to have to continue to produce as fast as you are. And oh, by the way, we're watching this trend change where students, you can no longer rely on just your engineering degree, but you're going to have to understand marketing, strategy, sales, market trends, etc. Because of the fast pace of this change, you can no longer rely on just your engineering degree to take you to that executive or that level of change, or as someone that's going to be making decisions. You need to understand the entire, what we have already known in our industries, which is called life cycle management, the cycle of a product. How does that work? The only way that a student can come into our company and truly elevate themselves and be mentored into a leadership role is that they not only understand the software and they understand engineering, but they understand strategy, they understand marketing, they understand how to position ourselves in that market so that we are that go-to company. And the only way we can do that is that we are bringing in diverse talent. So as a person part of the HR team, it's incumbent upon us to be intricate in that by leveraging our DEI processes to not only produce diverse talent, but to bring that diverse talent into our company and to mentor them into those leadership roles.
And can I add one to that, Krishnan?
Yes, please.
So Tavia really shine the spotlight on the issue of not having a diverse talent pipeline, but we also have an issue of our immediate future leaders who may not be the ones to kick off the digital transformation, but are going to be the ones to lead our organizations through the transformation, just because maybe organizations have not been intentional about the mentoring, the coaching, the succession planning in the past. We still have, we still are struggling with having the next set of leaders look and have diversity of thought, of gender, of race, of orientation. And so it's not just bringing in the talents that organizations, and Siemens is right there with you. We also are focusing on, okay, how do we make sure that the next set of leaders who are going to lead us through and lead the new talent that comes in are not just prepared to lead a more diverse talent pool, employee pool, but are diverse themselves.
Okay. Diversity, leadership, insight from C, current leadership and digital transformation.
It's an excellent point. I mean, it's not just about So first, Steve, thank you for informing us about the partnership that you have, where you create an ecosystem with your customers, with external organizations, with education institutions to create kind of create this talent that we're looking for, and then create opportunities for a diverse set of students. And I was in fact just going there in terms of what do you do with existing employees, right? I mean, thanks Bethany for today. Because there are two problems with it, right? One is the incoming talent, and then in your opinion, what is it? Can you give some examples of what are companies doing with the existing team that they have to kind of bring this awareness about DEI? I mean, everybody knows kind of DEI, kind of how to spell it, or kind of what the high level meaning is, but what does it really mean in the context of this digital transformation we are in? I mean, it is people who get it and people who get on this boat are going to be very successful, and people who don't are, I think, going to be left behind. I mean, how do you kind of get this narrative or this kind of awareness that you build, either how you do it inside your organization or how are other companies doing it?
So I'll take the first part of the question. So how Siemens has decided, how we are doing that is what Beck touched on before. So Siemens has a three-pillar approach to DEI. So we have what's called workforce, workplace, marketplace. So that workforce. So the first part that I talked about earlier was workforce. That's our alignment with the talent acquisition team. That's how we're bringing in that new talent. So we are positioning ourselves with various organizations, things like OSTEM, which is targeted for the LGBTQ community, and really partnering with those organizations to start to bring in that pipeline of talent. But then, as you pointed out, what happens once they're in the workforce? How do we start to mentor and cultivate those employees? That's where workplace comes into focus. So we take that pillar, which is workplace, and start to create mentoring programs. We start to have what we have now launched, which is called Growth Talks, where we are not only encouraging our employees to take ownership of their careers, but to have conversations from really day one when they walk into the door with their manager to say, I want to be able to move my career. So we do put some responsibilities on the employee. It's not just we hand you a map, but we do encourage new talent to come in and say, if you want to move your career, here are some very easy transitional type courses that we suggest. We have an entire set of web page on our HR site that employees can start to look at. Let's say I want to be a marketing manager, right? I want to be in management in the marketing space, but I come in as an engineer. Okay, I've come to this company as basically an engineer with some marketing experience. However, as Siemens, we're going to give you a very succinct educational pipeline to be able to start to educate yourself, because we are now looking at employees to be more self-sufficient, to be more aggressive in their careers. So I'm going to take the opportunity to look at the courses that we've already laid out, that we've already found for you, take those courses, and then to start to build out your career, right? You're starting to make your career be what you ultimately want it to be. And it's a two-part approach. So yeah, my employee is going to do the classes. Then I'm going to look at my managers. Managers, are you monitoring your employee through this process? How are you talking? How are you having these growth talks? Because we've implemented that, where we're having these conversations. How are you growing? What assistance do you need? What outside sources have you tapped into to continue to keep your mind on the trends that are moving? So it's that workplace part of our three-part program is really where we start to cultivate that. And then there's mentoring programs that we started. Beth knows one in particular, where we are now looking at our women population. Again, women are a big part of this male-dominated field that we are in, and starting to mentor them, partner them with female executives so that they understand the nuances and get a behind-the-scenes look at what it looks like to be in an executive role as a woman in a male-dominated field. The ultimate goal is that we will have enough diversity at that executive level that everyone comes into the company will know that there's opportunities across the board, and they will automatically gather the information they need to start to move their careers forward. But we're at the beginning stages right now. We're starting to have those growth talk conversations. We're starting to build that trust between employee and manager so that those pipelines can continue. Because the recruiting piece it's a challenge, but it's an easier part. It's cultivating the culture inside, and that's also part of that workplace. Because while we're cultivating employees, we're also having discussions about ethnicity, diversity. What does that mean? We're talking about how our differences are not what defines us as Siemens, but it grows us as Siemens employees, right? So we're not just mentoring, but we're having open, courageous conversations about what it means to be diverse in an organization like a Siemens or like a Lockheed, like a Boeing. What does that mean? How are your talents being brought out so that the workplace becomes an avenue for that growth, right? So it's a breeding ground for growth, because everyone is doing the same thing and having these very open discussions. Some of them are difficult. Some of them are not easy. In this atmosphere that we live in, some conversations are going to be very difficult for us to have, but we realize the importance of those, that if we don't have them, if we shy away from them, we're not going to be in line with the trend of what's happening outside the walls of our company. And we encourage that of all of our customers as well.
Great, thank you.
Is there a moment to add two thoughts to that?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. In addition to the work that we are doing with our employees and with our future talent, we're also seeing a trend where organizations are setting diversity targets. And not only are they setting the targets for the percentage of females hired, the percentage of female leaders, the percentage of Black Americans or Asian Americans. This is speaking from an American perspective. Companies are also opening up the transparency of those targets, and I believe what we also are seeing is that organizations and customers and suppliers are beginning to ask for it. It won't be long before those targets and where you are in your progress of hitting or exceeding the targets can no longer be inside or proprietary information. And so I believe that that's another shift that organizations, Siemens as well, is going to have to face very soon, if not it already being here.
Coursera we should not take with you inside your organization. And Jerry, we should not with you inside your organization. Yeah, resource expand our skill our skill sets. I mean, using additionally and open to work in the multicultural environment. Okay, that is okay. And then we how can an organization incorporate a vision or mission of diversity, equity, and inclusion to support its transformation in real diversity of leadership, engage with focus on repair future workforce talent, cultivate a culture of the two open oh. In addition to being designed for manufacturing at scale, traditional manufacturing processes were also designed to respond quickly to financial supply chain. 4. Industry 4.0 require existing manufacturers to redesign their organization capability beyond lean process and train business process, develop care technology, international culture and leadership. Okay, channel. Customer expectation in Industry 4.0 include the things such as real-time engagement, proactive solution, and evolving artificial and not easy. Automation, robotic, and embedded intelligence in solution, big data, machine share, internet technology, cloud, embedded intelligence in object, customer expectation. Question E personal. So can and what is it? Make the shows. Also called and another expression. A personal experience also called. So called. What called? Maybe ChatGPT. Okay, let's see. We can check all of them. Maybe ChatGPT can help us. With often refer. Oh, another application to and one of mass contamination. Oh, and equal one. Okay. Okay. We done that. This one. Okay. And then 7 2. We continue with 7 2.
Our learning objectives in this course are as follows. We will focus on the primary question of what is this technology? What is the IIoT and how does it work?
Okay.
We will also discuss understanding the business use cases of this technology in a manufacturing context. And we will talk about the component pieces of technology that actually contribute to these IIoT applications. Then we will also focus on what does it take to successfully implement these technologies. Now, what goes right, what goes wrong, what all things they need to take care in order to make sure that they're successful. We will also spend time understanding the various dimensions of business value benefits from the industrial Internet of Things technologies in manufacturing. We will focus on specifically the challenges, like when companies want to roll out applications using this technology, then they are likely to face some challenges. They need to be aware of that. So we'll focus on those, and we will also address some of the risks that come with this technology that companies and users of this technology should be aware of. And finally, we will spend some time understanding the future trends in this technology, like in the next 3 to 5 years. What is it that we can expect, and how would that shape the future of manufacturing? Our mode of delivery and learning here is going to be combined. It's going to be including some video lectures as we're doing right now. We will also have reading assignments, learning assessments. We've also got some industry experts who have been generative with their time to join in conversations with us, sharing their decades of experience working on this technology, making these applications successful in large manufacturing organizations. So here are some of these experts who will be joining us in this course. First, Dr. Annie Zhang, who is a digital innovation specialist in advanced manufacturing at Ford Motor Company. We have Mr. Jayanta Banerjee, who is a group CIO at Tata Steel Group. That's one of the largest steel companies in the world. We have Kathleen Dewak. She's the chief architect and head of global architecture for MindSphere at Siemens. MindSphere is one of the industrial Internet of Things platform from Siemens. We also have Nash Chakraborty from Siemens. He's the senior director and global marketing. Yes. We also have our own Professor Yogesh Janchandani from the University of Michigan, who heads a center for wireless integrated microsensing. Basically, as it's a center that focuses on microsensor technology, and he's also a professor in the computer science and electrical engineering department here at the University of Michigan. And we have also a startup company which is primarily built around the sensor technologies and IoT applications. And we have CEO Sasan Chamuri, who's the CEO of Omniscient, and the basic idea research for that technology happened within the University of Michigan. So we'll get some of these startup perspectives in addition to perspective from all these business leaders.
Okay.
in order for us to understand the industrial Internet of Things or IIoT, it is important for us to first know what is IoT or Internet of Things. In fact, we should start from relating from Internet to Internet of Things. If you recall the history of Internet, as you see in the left-hand side of the chart, it started with the concept of a network of computers, the network of traditional computers as we understand, several decades ago. In fact, primarily it started with applications in defense and research applications in universities, and that's where those drove the need for a network of connected computers, and that we used to call this as Internet. Of course, those industrial machines used for research and development or defense applications, they moved to kind of the personal computers you and I, all of us use, and they started connected to the same network called Internet. Over time, with the advances in microprocessor technologies and communication, in fact, what has happened is we have more and more devices that are intelligent, that have got microprocessors in them, and so these devices, they also began to start connected to the same network, and that's why from Internet it became Internet of Things, because it's not just the Internet or the network of computers, but now you can connect your phone, your car, you name it, your washing machine, anything that you have that has got a microprocessor, has got some intelligence and a capability for the sense, that can be connected to the Internet for a particular contextual application. So that became the network of not just computers, various other devices, often called general term called things. That's what evolved into what we call as the Internet of Things. In order to understand these applications on Internet of Things, let's kind of start with a simple example that all of us can relate to: a thermostat. We all recall the analog thermostat, like a thermometer we used to have, which actually would track the mercury will show the level of temperature. But then you switch that to a digital thermostat, right? A digital thermostat, what it can do, that it again has a sensor to sense the temperature, and of course it can show the temperature that is there in your house and display that. That's one application. It can sense the temperature and display that. However, let's say if you can kind of, if this thermostat is more intelligent, it's got some microprocessor, and it can do something additionally. For example, it can connect to the cloud, it can connect to the network. Suppose instead of this thermostat being just connected to your home, it is now connected back to the network as well. So what does this lead to? Well, if it is connected to the network, then the thermostat can actually now send data, store data in that central location of the network, and also access data from there. Now, that has got enormous implications for various ways we can put this into use. In fact, primarily for consumer convenience or for business value in the context of companies. How does that happen? Well, once you put this information in the network and make it accessible by the thermostat, what you could do is that the same information could be accessible by any other thing or device that is connected to the network. For example, your phone. So from your phone, you can now connect to the same network, access the same data. So that means sitting here in my office, I can actually look at what is the temperature that my thermostat is showing at home. It's not just about reading the information that is given. Now I can also send a command back to kind of set the new temperature level so that I can either get my home warmed up or cooled down depending upon the time of the year before I get home from work. So this is the classic example of a simple example that we all live now, where we are connecting back to something that is sensing temperature, and then it's connected to the network and using the network to get access information, or also give instructions to what to be done in a remote location. This is a good example of what we call as Internet of Things and bringing some value for customer convenience. So how do we move from Internet of Things to industrial Internet of Things? Well, the same concept of thermostat, if you kind of extend this to application of interconnected sensors and devices and machines in manufacturing, including complex machines, assets, vehicles, robots, then if you can connect all these things and create contextual applications to improve the manufacturing process, just like the convenience we brought with thermostat, that application would be called the industrial Internet of Things, because the application is in the context of manufacturing industry. The economics of the IIoT technology now is in such a stage that we can actually easily justify the business value investments. Because if you look at primarily the trends in terms of the cost of microprocessors, the power of the microprocessors and the cost of microprocessors, the power has gone up and the cost has come down significantly. Storage costs has come down significantly. These are some of the big trends that are actually making the applications of Internet of Things viable economically, in the sense that as a business, you can easily make a business case because the investment is not that high as compared to the returns you get back. In fact, a recent survey from McKinsey company shows that predicts that the industrial Internet of Things market would be more than $500 billion in just 3 to 4 years from now. In fact, they predict that we already have more than 8.4 billion devices that are actually connected to the internet, right? And this is supposed to also further explode. And with the advances in high-speed connectivity, like the 5G spectrum, for high-speed connectivity in communication networks, and again, reduction in storage technology costs, or the microprocessors economics, I think this is going to be a big market as predicted by McKinsey company in the survey.
Okay. Okay, maybe we stop here. We'll continue next.